Hey team, thanks for joining me for a Chat GPT training. Today we're going to be covering how we can utilize AI and Chat GPT to benefit you both personally and professionally. Our purpose of this training is really to help you understand how you can utilize AI or Chat GPT to accelerate you both personally and professionally, whether it's making a meal plan, need assistance, drafting an email or need an outline, or maybe you just need help understanding a budget. There's so much you can do with Chat GPT. I'm excited to dive into, some of the features and kind of give you an idea of how to use it. So in this training, we're going to cover what Chat GPT is and how does it work, how it was created and how to create a free account, and then how to navigate the software and some examples of some personal and professional uses. I do plan on doing a second Chat GPT training on this. So this will be part one, more of a basic understanding of it all. But if you guys have anything that you'd like to see or questions, please feel free to email me. I'm happy to address them one-on-one. So let's dive into this. What is Chat GPT and how does it work? Well, Chat GPT, the way I like to think of it is it's like a really smart robot. It's a robot, machine, whatever you'd like to call it, that you can talk to by writing text. It's built to understand the response and questions or statements just like any other human would, or we can have a conversation with it and it will continue to, note or memorize what we've been having a dialogue about. So you can ask it really anything and it will try to give you the best answer it can based on really what it's learned. Which actually that leads right into, well, how was ChatGPT created? How was this software created? Well, ChatGPT was created by two main factors. And one main factor was, well, they taught it a ton of information. Imagine you read every book in the world. You've gone through every website. You've gone through every article out there. You would know a lot. You would probably know more than anybody, right? Well, that's really the first step of creating ChatGPT. It was fed a vast amount of information from the internet, from books, from articles, because it's a language-based learning model. It's going to take in, what it's being fed in as facts, what is not real, what are just stories, and it's getting an understanding of how us humans want to receive answers back, and the information it's gathering is, it's recording that. It's making sure it knows what it is. So there are times it can be inaccurate, right? Just based off of, and not everything on the internet is correct, right? And that's where it's getting a lot of its information. So be attentive to that. Make sure you know and double check, the response, the answer you get from ChatGPT doesn't have anything inaccurate, because it possibly could. And, as more people utilize ChatGPT, the more it's going to get better. It's going to become more efficient. So it went from learning everything that it can, websites to books to everything at all, to having conversations. After it's learned all the information, it was trained to have a conversation just like how a human would. And how they did that is they gave it prompts, they gave it questions or statements, and then it provided the answer. And then they the coders and everybody that is in charge of ChatGPT were giving it examples of how it should respond and how a human would want to receive this answer. So it gave it examples, and then they trained it to be able to predict what would be said next in the conversation, and then what should be said within that conversation. And they did that for forever. They did it over and over and over until it just got better and better and better. And they're still doing that today. Just like how I said, it's still learning from that huge book every single day. So the more it's utilized, the better ChatGPT gets. Now, how does ChatGPT work? And I'm going to go into this when we do the actual training, but to give you a brief overview, ChatGPT is super simple. You give it a prompt, which I call, excuse me. How does it work? So you give it a prompt. The prompt, it could be a question, it could be a statement, it could be really anything you want to talk about. That's what is going to be your key component to utilizing ChatGPT is your prompt, your question, your statement, the amount of detail and context you give in your prompt is going to prepare ChatGPT to give you the best answer and the best results that you're wanting to receive. So when you give it your prompt, you got your question, your statement, you put it in, you submit it in into the little search bar at the bottom. And again, I'll show you this. It thinks, ChatGPT thinks and looks through everything it has learned to find the best way to respond back to you. It's like it's flipping through a book, a giant book, or in this case, websites, articles, really everything, to see if it has the answer so it can provide it to you. And again, I can't stress your response you're going to receive for ChatGPT from the prompt that you submit is really going to be geared on the context and the information that you gave it during your prompt. So if you ask a simple question, it might give a simple answer, but if you give it more context, it's going to give it a little bit more robust answer for you. Now, before I get into starting an account and signing in and all that stuff, I do want to touch on one more thing. You really need to think of this like a machine or a robot. You can provide as much detail as you want, and it will filter, it will source, and it's going to determine the best best answer off the training and the education it's received. So it remembers the conversation, it will adapt to your style and how you want to receive the information. And we could even get in a little bit further in this. In your prompt, you can specify how you want your answer, and we can go into that here. But really what you're thinking about is essentially you're giving a machine a problem to solve with the information that you have, that the prompt contains, and it's going to provide you the best answer it can. Now, again, more information, better answer from there. So I'm going to quick pause right now, and I'm going to get us signed up. Okay, so your first step, I'm going to share my screen with you. Just 1 second. All right, so your first step is to open up Internet, Safari, Google Chrome, whatever you use to, search on the internet, an internet browser, right? So from there, I'm using Google. I'm just going to use Google search bar right up at the top. You can go directly into the URL right here at the top. From here, I'm just going to type in Chat GPT. Oops, I'm not typing. Chat GPT. It should be this first one that opens up. If not, it's also developed by OpenAI. You can click on these buttons, but I'm just going to click the first selection available. Now for here, you're going to see a login or sign up. In this case, I'm going to be showing you guys how to sign up. When you click sign up, it's going to say create an account by either entering your email address, or you can click continue with Google, continue with Microsoft account, or continue with Apple if you're on your iPhone. I'm going to show you just a simple way of starting it through an email and not connecting it through these other elements here. So, oops. Made this email just for you guys. And then a password. I'm gonna have to make a password. So they're going to send you an email with a verification. You're going to go to your phone or your email in that case and verify your email address. Perfect. So I just verified it on my phone. I'm just going to hit refresh here. And now it's going to prompt us to the next step, which is your information. Got to verify that you're human. Immediately when you get logged into Chat GPT, you're going to be prompted with tips for getting started, asked away, don't share sensitive info, and check your facts. So this is pretty much information that we've covered other than don't share sensitive info. Chat GPT does make a history of what you've had, a conversation about. And so it's best practice not to give it any personal information, including your phone number, address, or really anything from there. because it learns based off the language and the questions that you're providing it. So make sure you don't provide any sensitive information there, especially company information as well. So when you first log into ChatGPT, you're going to be kind of a little confused, right? You got a little search bar at the bottom. How can we help you today? Whatever these are, right? These are just little examples of prompts or questions that you could ask it, right? Right here at the top left, you're going to see new chat where you can start a new chat. And then you're going to see your conversation history or chat history on this top left bar right here. Now, as we go through examples, you're going to notice that it will start to label the chats for us, and it's pretty cool. But let's just go ahead and dive deep and go right into that, okay? So now that you've created a ChatGPT account, you understand this, showing you how to navigate. Your navigation is pretty simple. You down here at the top, the bottom left, you have your account information where you can customize ChatGPT, settings, log out. You can upgrade your plan, which I believe there's a $20 plan that you can upgrade for more features like Dolly and a couple other full AI features that you can utilize. Up here at the top left, you have new chat. Start a new chat by clicking this little button with a pencil. You don't need to worry about this. This is just the version of ChatGPT you're using. And then again, these are just prompts that it's suggesting you can use. Down here in this little search bar is going to be where you enter in your prompts, your question, your statement, whatever it is from there that you would like to ask ChatGPT. So let's go ahead and dig in and show some examples on how we can use ChatGPT to accelerate our lives personally and professionally. So ChatGPT can be used from event planning to creating a vacation, your house hunting. You need to summarize an article, helping create a formula for Excel, or maybe you need help making an outline for objections or arguments, or maybe you're just studying something and you just need a little bit more information about it. So I like to use ChatGPT almost just like my Google search bar sometimes. I will use it to just ask basic questions or something that is super easy for me to search into Google, but I'll throw it to ChatGPT because it will give me a better answer. I can have it cite sources, and it just does a lot better job than your typical search bar at like Google or Yahoo or Bing would do from there. So first, let's start off with some basic functions on how you can utilize ChatGPT for personal lives. Now, let's say you and your partner are needing a new dinner recipe for the week and you have some diet restrictions. So let's go ahead and let's start that out. Now, the question that you're going to want to put into ChatGPT for this, and we're just going to start really simple. Your question should be, and I have some saved, please provide me with some dinner recipes for the week, right? So we're going to do that. Type it in, and it's going to give you some recipes for the week. Grilled chicken salad, vegetarian stir fry, spaghetti bolognese, salmon, vegetable curry. I mean, it's going to go on and on and on and provide you as much as you want. I mean, from here, it's given us 7 different meals that we can eat. I could say, I need 10 more meals. And it will write it out. Or you could even say, perfect. Can you give me the recipe or the instructions for how you want to, make this meal, right? So there's definitely a better way you can have that conversation and keep it going. But, when I first brought this up, I said that we have some diet restrictions, right? And maybe your diet restriction is you can't eat tomatoes, right? So we could type right here and just say, I am allergic to tomatoes. And apparently I cannot spell today. So putting in there that I'm allergic to tomatoes, it's going to revamp. Oh, look, allergic to tomatoes, here's an alternative. Perfect. I'm going to say, make a full meal plan for me this week and include the recipe for the meals. So boom, it's going through and it's going to go day one. Here's your ingredients. Here's your instructions. Here's what you need to do. Notice how it's not going to put in any more tomatoes because we've specified now that you're allergic to tomatoes. Now, let's just see an example of you want to go to a new chat. Now, you're done with this chat. You don't want to carry on. Maybe you want to come back to it later, but you're done. You want to start over, go new. At the very top left, there's your new chat option. Just click this little pencil. Boom. It's going to clear your chat and you're back into a regular and new prompt, right? Now, let's show another example for some personal development. Let's say you're trying to gain some more muscle this year and you need a workout plan and have a focus on your fitness goal, right? So in this new chat, we're going to go through, and I already have these prompts saved, so I'm just going to copy and paste. But right here, you're going to type in for this question, can you create me a workout plan to gain 25 pounds of muscle mass by the end of this October? We're going to type that in and see what it does for us. So boom, almost immediately does it start to give us a response. Gaining 25 pounds of muscle is relatively short period, like a few months. Yeah, it probably is. So it's kind of making me be a little realistic here, but it's going to give me a breakdown of what my workout split is, the workout routine, gives me the amount of reps, what I need to do, general guidelines, important notes. Gave me pretty much quite a bit of information there. So maybe you want to, give it a little bit more context to your prompt and question so you get a better answer, right? So let's give it a little bit more information here. In this same chat, and I can start a new chat with this, but since it's the same topic, same conversation, I'm keeping it within this chat. And I'm just going to say, can you make me a workout plan that I can use 5 days each week? My goal is to gain 25 pounds of muscle mass by October. I'm a 27-year-old male. Now, this information maybe isn't necessary, but it's going to help them out or help Chat GPT out by giving an answer to how I would want to receive it. So with a little bit more context, let's see if it changes our response. So this time it didn't really give us a workout split, but it just went into our workout routine. And it gave additional tips, but maybe I want that workout split. You could say, hey, can you add in the workout split information? Or you can even say, can you break these workouts down a little bit more? So I'm going to ask it to break down the workouts just a little bit more for us. And boom, there you go. And you have a whole workout routine. This little button right here where you type in your questions, your prompts, or statements, it's a stop button. So if maybe you're getting the wrong answer and you don't want to sit here and wait for it to finish, you can, it's gone now. You can click that button and it will stop Chat GPT from providing you any more answers, and then you can, give it a correction. Maybe like this. Change day 3 and 5. Right here, I can say boom and hit stop. It's going to stop and say, just change day 5. And now you've prevented it from spilling out more information. You've stopped it, and now you're locked in and you're getting your answer that you've asked, right? So perfect. Some things to consider here as well is this button. Whenever ChatGPT gives you an answer, there's 3 buttons at the bottom. There's one that looks like a clipboard. That's your copy button. So if I wanted to copy this, I'd hit the clipboard. I could type right here and I could paste exactly what it just gave me, right? But I don't need to do that. I can hit this regenerate, which regenerate will ask ChatGPT to regenerate that same answer. Maybe it's in a different way, or maybe you didn't like how it was, worded or whatnot. You can keep regenerating it and it will give you, the answer, but in a different way. And I'll show you right here. You click it, it says 2 out of 2. This is your second time giving it a chance to give you the answer. Maybe I didn't like that. I'm going to do it again. 3 out of 3. This is your third chance. Maybe you like that first answer better now that you've read a couple or 2 different statements from it. So you can click these little arrows next to the 3 out of 3 or 2 out of 3, 1 out of 3, and see the previous answers that it provided. Now, there is a thumbs down, which is a bad response. You're giving ChatGPT feedback that the accurate or the information that it provided was inaccurate, or it was a bad response, or it wasn't what you were looking for. Again, ChatGPT learns off of you using it. So if you're giving it feedback on it's not providing good responses, it's going to start to learn. And it's also going to give the developers a chance to, make some changes, find the bugs, and, get feedback on their side as well. So incredibly important. Make sure that if you do get a bad response, give it a thumbs down, even write some feedback from there. Before we move on, there is one thing I do want to show you guys. Just like I mentioned, this hotbar, this sidebar at the top left is going to be your history of conversations. And you can start a new chat, and then you can go back to, previous conversations you've had with ChatGPT and carry on from there. Now, just going back to the muscle gain question that we had, one thing I do want to add into there is, I could be having a conversation on this chat with it, on meal plans, and then I can jump back to the muscle questions that I had. And then maybe I need to give it a little bit more context and information for me to have a better workout or a tailored workout plan for me. So I have a statement I'm going to give it, which is going to say, well, I broke my back a few years ago, so I'm very weak. Can you make my workout plan geared towards building my strength in my back? So by doing that, it's going to now take the work plans that is provided you, taking the information that it knows that I'm trying to gain 25 pounds by the end of October. I'm a 27-year-old male. It's going to start to focus now that I broke my back a couple of years ago and it's not as strong as it used to be. So it's going to gear the workout towards that area there. ChatGPT can be utilized for so much more. I'm sure you guys are thinking about what you can utilize it right now. But let's go into another example here. The next prompt is going to be a little bit of a personal question or personal development question. But I wanted to show you guys this because my friends did this exactly just a couple of weeks ago. And I was over their house hanging out with them, and they were letting me know that they have a lot of do-it-yourself projects this year they're wanting to do around the house, like remodeling their kitchen, putting a deck in, just some things around the house. And they don't really know where to start. They were just asking some people around on where to start and what would be the best way. And as a new house or new homeowners, they want to make sure they're doing the right thing first. So I ended up, I was just over their house and told them, why don't you ask ChatGPT where to start if you're wanting to remodel your kitchen? And that's exactly what I'm going to show you today. So we started a new chat. We have our old chats right here, but I'm starting a new chat. And I'm going to tell ChatGPT, I am looking to remodel my house, remodeling my kitchen this year, but I don't know where to start. Can you help me create an action plan to get this started? So before I submit this, I want to talk about the prompt or the statement that I'm giving it. I'm telling it that I'm remodeling my kitchen this year. I don't know where to start. So it's going to provide an answer on where to start. And then, can you help me create an action plan? So you're telling it how you want to get the results. You want the results in an action plan format, right? So I'm going to hit submit. Boom. So now it's going through and it's define your goals and budget, research inspiration, measure and assess, prioritize upgrades, find professionalism, and so on and so forth, right? Now, maybe you want to save this chat in this little corner right here and you want to come back to it later because maybe you've sat down with your partner and you have a budget. I have a budget now and I need assistance. Searching for a contractor. Searching for a contractor to assist. Can you help? Boom. So now it's starting to give me the next steps. Ask for recommendations, check online reviews, go on, so on from there. Now, one thing I do want to mention, this is the free Chat GPT version. If you do pay for their Chat GPT plan, I think it's their upgraded plan, which is $20 a month. If you were to ask it to provide you assistance by searching for contractors, it is going to actually provide you links to reputable contractors for a kitchen remodel. But I'm only showing you guys on the free account and the free version. So I want to show you guys the utilization from there. From here, you can keep asking questions. Maybe you want to ask questions about fixtures. Maybe you want to ask questions about, is there any city code that you need to be adhering to? You can ask ChatGPT this. If it's on the web, it's going to be able to find it. Again, make sure the answers are correct, though. It can find misinformation from there. So our next step here is to show you guys how ChatGPT can also be a little incorrect sometimes. So ChatGPT it's awesome. It's a language-based model. It can provide you a lot of detail, a lot of information if you're trying to do some research or whatnot from there. But maybe you want it to write you, oh my gosh, I cannot spell, write me a bedtime story for my 2 kids. I need the story to be about a little boy and a bird. Now, notice I spelled story wrong right there. I do know how to spell story, but notice how I spelt it wrong. It actually already knows what I'm meaning by story. It doesn't even need me to go back and autocorrect it to give it exactly what I'm looking for. But I gave it that question and boom. I mean, it just gave me a full-on story on a boy and a bird, a short story that I could read to my little kids. Now, what I want to tell you is this is a good example for if you're trying to have it write an email for you, or maybe you're trying to write a response or a question or something for you to reword or check spelling or grammar. When you provide ChatGPT that and it gives you the answer, it's going to write it out as a language model that it thinks the best answer is going to be. So what I mean by that is in this story, and I'm not going to read it all, I might not use the word gently. That might not be in my vocabulary. That might not be in my personal dictionary that I like to use. And so it's throwing in words or maybe even complicated words or complex words that you don't use on day-to-day life and day-to-day uses. And it thinks you do. So it will just throw it in the story. It will just throw it in the article or the email that you're having it format or whatever it is. It will throw in some big words. You got to make sure you read and proofread and make sure that it sounds like, exactly how you want it to sound and that it sounds personal, because ChatGPT, it does lack the human element sometimes. And for an example, if I were to ask it to type an email up for a response I've gotten, if I were to just send it exactly the response it gives me, it's probably going to sound like it didn't come from me. And that person on the other end receiving it is going to know I didn't take the time or effort, right? So be very, very cautious of that. Just know that ChatGPT, it can give some complicated feedback back, and you're going to want to make sure that it's the right answer that you're looking for, and have a dialogue with it. Maybe you don't like the word it used, have it take that out and reword the story in this case, right? We can have that. Now, I do want to show you guys another example is to show you guys how spelling can affect this, because I just showed you guys that when I typed in story wrong or I spelled story wrong, that it didn't need me to go back and correct the spelling. It knew that I wanted a story. It just did on its own, right? So I have a prompt that I wrote that I feel like it kind of has some bad spelling, and then on top of that, just bad clarity overall. And this is a really good example that maybe you're about to send this text to your boss or maybe your partner in this case, and your text message just doesn't sound right, or it's not what you're wanting, right? So I have this statement: hey Joe, I think we should take some time to quality check floors 2 and 3. Can you get me a parking pass for when I get there tomorrow? I am to be there tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I am excited to meet you. So all I'm going to say, and that's my prompt. All I'm going to say at the very top is, can you spell, check, and check grammar, fix, or you can say, excuse me, and check for clarity. So right here, I'm telling it, can you spell check this? Can you check the grammar? And can you check that it, has good clarity to it? I'm going to have it submit, and it's going to rewrite it just a little bit better with the correct spelling, grammar, and clarity. So, hey, Joe, I think we should take some time to quality check floors 2 and 3. Can you get me a parking pass for when I arrive tomorrow? I am scheduled to be there tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I'm excited to meet you. So I know that might not be the best example, but it really is the best way I could show you guys that it is a great way to check your spelling, your grammar, or even to just add clarity to your message and make sure that it makes it sound right, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just start a new chat because we're starting a new conversation, right? And I want to show you guys how you can accelerate your professional life. And there's almost really nothing that Chat GPT can't do that can't help you accelerate you personally and professionally. So one thing I do want to show is, let's say my boss Q, he asked me to provide him an outline of a marketing strategy to attract more experienced plumbers to join the team. I can do this on my own, and I can take the time to not even use Chat GPT, and it could possibly take me up to an hour to get an outline together, where Chat GPT can provide me an outline and an idea of what I need to do in a matter of seconds, so I can just go ahead and get on to my work and start, accelerating my personal work there. Now, I'm going to give ChatGPT the statement, can you help me outline a marketing strategy to attract experienced plumbers to join our team? Now, I'm going to go ahead and just submit that and see what it does. So certainly attracting experienced plumbers, it starts to give me an outline of defining your unique selling proposition, develop a strong employer brand, utilize job boards and industry-specific platforms, leverage social media, networking and partners, employer referral program, educational and content. I mean, it's just going to go on and on and on, and we can still have a conversation with it. And I could even give it a little bit more information, but it's crazy what this thing can do. I can take all of this to start giving me a rough draft of how my outline should be. So what could have taken me an hour to do is really only going to take me now 30 minutes, okay? So I want to show another example of professional usage. I'm going to go ahead and just start a new chat here. And let's say you're an apprentice plumber here in Utah, and you have a question. Let's say this. Let's say you forgot how often you need to install supports for cast iron pipes. So first, I want to give ChatGPT some context with this prompt, that you are a plumber here in Utah and you forgot how often to install supports when I am working with cast iron pipes, or you are working with cast iron piping. Now, real quick, before I submit it, I want to explain something. I gave it the information that you're a plumber here in Utah. That is incredibly important, because if I left that out and I just said, how often do I need to install supports when I'm working on cast iron piping, ChatGPT is going to look up that exact question. It's going to start looking for everything it knows about cast iron piping and supports and how often they need to be installed. And it's going to, it's going to give you information that it finds from all around the websites and books and education that it's been taught. And so it's not looking at Utah. It might give you an answer that it provides somebody in Germany. It might give you an answer that it provides somebody in California, where maybe their standards or their code and standards are completely different, right? So you want to give it the context that you are a plumber here in Utah, and you need to know how often you need to install supports for cast iron piping. So that's why I gave it that information. It's crucial that you're giving it as much information as possible, or much context as possible, because the better you get at doing that, the better the answers you're going to receive. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. Boom. When working with cast iron piping, and then it starts to go in, I actually did a pretty good job. I asked this the other day, and it actually broke it down for me depending on the diameter of the piping that I was using. So we could actually go ahead and type that in and say, hey, I'm using 4.5-inch diameter piping or whatever it may be. It's going to give you an answer geared on that because of the context I'm providing it. So there you go. Now, I want to show you guys another example here about your prompts and your questions. And we're going to go back to your dinner recipes for this week. So if you guys remember, my original question to this was, please provide me some dinner recipes for the week. And it gave it through. I let it know that I was allergic to tomatoes, started giving me a better answer. I asked it to make me a meal plan and so on and so forth, right? Well, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of a better way. I'm going to start a new chat. I can continue this on that dinner recipes week, but just starting a new chat for this example. Now, my prompt is going to be crucial here, and I'm going to explain why I'm doing it this way, because this is kind of some advanced stuff. Now, my prompt is, you are an expert meal planner and you have a vast amount of experience working as a famous chef. Please provide me with the dinner recipes for the week. I'm allergic to tomatoes and I avoid eating seafood. So I'm going to speak on this. I've given it a lot of context here. I've given it that I am allergic to tomatoes and I'm avoiding eating seafood. And what I'm looking to receive is a dinner meal plans for the week, right? But what's important about this, right? You are an expert meal planner and you have a vast amount of experience working as a famous chef. Chat GPT is not a famous chef, not an expert meal planner. It's nothing of that, right? It's why am I even including this into the statement or the prompt? Well, this is where it kind of gets a little advanced. You can trick Chat GPT into thinking it is something, but it's not. In this case, I'm telling it that it is an expert meal planner and that it has a vast amount of experience working as a famous chef. Now, why is that important to include? Well, the answer that I'm wanting it to provide back, I can just go back to the dinner recipes chat and it's just going to provide a normal breakdown of the recipes, right? And it's going to do a really good job doing that. But in this case, I'm tricking ChatGPT into thinking that it needs to provide an answer as if it was an expert meal planner and a vast amount of experience working as a famous chef. So, and then I'm gonna actually add to this prompt. I'm gonna say at the bottom here, I'm gonna say, make sure to include the recipe and detailed instructions, because I'm trying to give it better context to how I want to receive the answer, right? So we're going to submit this, and I bet we're going to get a different answer than we would receive from the dinner recipes of the week. So boom. Now we're getting our recipes, recipe 1, ingredients, instructions for recipe 2, so on and so forth. And then we can say, we'll see how it only gave us 3 recipes. I'm going to say, what about the rest of the week? And now it's going to continue. Recipe 4, pesto chicken pasta, which that sounds freaking really, really good. I'm actually going to stop this from continuing. We don't really need that. But if I go to my dinner recipes of the week, do you notice the ingredients and the instructions? They're outlined well. I mean, I could probably go make some chicken vegetable scrolled with couscous. But instead, by me giving it more context, it went into more detail, even in the instructions. So I hope you guys are understanding that the better your question is, the better your prompt is, the more context, the more information you're feeding it, the better your result is going to give, or the better result you're going to receive in that case, right? So I'll even show you guys a little bit more off of this. Maybe you want to go into more detail and you want to continue the conversation and you want to say, I am not a fan of eating, or actually, I'm going to say I'm not a fan of cooking with the oven. Let's just see what it does. Let's stick to stovetop recipes. Perfect. So now it's giving me stovetop recipes. Maybe you don't have a stovetop and just say, I only have a microwave. Now it's starting to give recipes with a microwave. So it's going to give you a lot more information. You can even say, I am on a budget and I need to keep my costs down. What are some meals I can eat that are low cost? Absolutely. Boom. So now it starts to give you guys some recipes and instructions based off of you need to stick to a lower budget, but it's also remembering what you provided it at the very beginning, that it was a renowned chef. It has a vast amount of experience. It's a famous chef, right? So all of this, all of that context, all to get this answer here. And then you can continue to build and start asking questions. You can start to, you know, even create one for a whole month if you would like it to. I mean, this thing can really, really go into some detail here. But we're coming short on time, so I do want to show you guys some more examples. So another great one is let's say you get emailed an article, or maybe you find an article online and well, you want to summarize it. You don't have the time to read it all, or maybe you forgot what it had stated in there, and you just need it summarized, right? So I went online for this training, and I ended up finding a news article, and I'm just copying the URL or the web page, right? So I copied it here, and I'm just going to say, can you summarize this for me? And I can't spell for some reason again. A was left out. So boom, I gave it, can you summarize this for me? Gave it the full link. And now it says, certainly this link was discussed in abandoned high-rise buildings in Louisiana, blah, 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 blah. Maybe I don't like that. I need more details and in bullet points. So right here, I'm saying I need more details and in bullet points. So I'm going to have it give me the answer back in bullet points. Watch. Boom. Location, attraction, boom. So it's going through and it's giving it in bullet points. You could say more detail. What was this article about? Perfect. Okay. Well, let's go into the next example here. Another example I have for you guys is my friend, he has an extra bedroom in his house and he's renting it out to our other friend. And he wanted to put a lease agreement or rentals agreement in place, right? So I had him use Chat GPT to create an outline. And this is a really good example, personally and professionally, right? So maybe you're about to rent your house, or maybe you're about to rent a room in your house, or maybe you're about to go rent a room and you want to make sure you have the right agreements in place. Well, in this case, I'm going to give it the prompt of, I'm going to be renting my room in my house and I need to make a rental agreement. Can you make a rental agreement for me for 6-month period? I will charging $800 a month plus utilities, and I need something in place where if I need him to move out, he'll have a 60-day notice. You can even add more detail into that as needed, right? But I'm going to give it that prompt and see what it does. Boom. It's starting to give an outline of the residential rental agreement. It actually is writing you pretty much everything out there for you. And you can even add in on this, you could say, hey, add in an agreement that he pays a cleaning fee upon, him moving out or whatever that may be. And that could be entered in by ChatGPT for you. Again, all you would have to do is just hit this little clipboard and copy and you would have it there, or you can highlight it all if you're on a desktop. And you can copy that from that. So another professional example I want to give you guys is maybe you're a plumber here and you want to do some research on control points. Maybe you're an apprentice and you're trying to figure that out. So I started a new chat. Remember, this is a whole new topic, new conversation. I'm going to go ahead and just start a new chat there. And this, I'm going to say, I am a plumber here in Utah, and I'm wanting to understand how control points are important to I'm going to restart my speech here. I am a plumber here in Utah, and I'm wanting to understand how control points are important in relations to our Trimble system we use. Can you help me understand control points and why they should be important to me? So I'm giving it the context I want. I'm wanting it to give me an answer of why control points are important to me. And I already stated that I'm a plumber here in Utah, so I've given it that context as well. Let's see what it says. Now, in the context of surveying and construction, control points play a crucial role. Blah, 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 goes on, and it actually gives a pretty good answer of why control points and what they are and why they are important to you. So that's just one of the examples you could use Chat GPT for in a professional standpoint. Like if you're an apprentice plumber and you want to double check code or in something and do some research in this case, right? Now, before I start to end this out, I do want to show you guys just a couple more examples here. I know some of you guys use Excel a ton, and I use Excel pretty much religiously. And when I use Excel, some of those formulas can get pretty complicated. But even if you don't even know how to do a simple formula, like a sum formula, right? How to add one column to another or minus one column from another, it can be challenging on how to do that. So I have a prompt here. I'm going to ask Chat GPT to help me out with it. So my prompt here is, I need a formula for Excel. In column C, I have amount of money I spent, and in column D, I have how much money I'm willing to spend. I need a formula that will take column C's entries and column D's entries and provide a sum of the difference in column E. So that might have just been Spanish or another language right there because you might not understand it. But I'm basically, what I did here is I told it I'm using Excel. I need a formula. I've told it that in column C, I have this. In column D, I have this. In column E, this is what I need. So it's taking in all the information. I'm telling it, I'm giving it all the instructions in a language way so it could understand it, right? I'm just going to hit enter and see what it says. The sum or difference between amounts in column C and D and display results in column E. Boom. So right here, it's giving me the formulas. I can copy it's going to say copy code in this top corner, but you can copy it and it's going to say for the sum, you can use the sum function. This formula adds value C and 2 for the differences, C minus 2. And maybe it's not the way you want it. Maybe you say, can you try again? It didn't work. Let's just see. We're not going to even try it. I'm just going to give it more questions there. So boom, gives you a better formula. This is just a basic example. I mean, I've had it create some formulas for me that I didn't even know how to use. And then when I had it create me the formula, the best thing about ChatGPT is, well, let me show you. Can you explain this to me? I don't understand this at all. So now it's going to give you an explanation of the answer that it's provided. And again, I'm not going to go through this. We're kind of short on time here, but I did just want to show you guys that. Some other examples you can use are, maybe you're planning a vacation with your wife or your partner and you're wanting to, find the best vacation spot for you guys. You can ask ChatGPT that. Maybe you put in your preferences and then your partner's preferences and say, give me a list of 10 locations that will best fit or what we're both looking for in this vacation. Another great example is, you can ask it to clarify. You can have it give clarity to maybe a statement you've written, or maybe something that it's given you, a response. You can ask it to clarify. There's so much you can use with Chat GPT to accelerate your life personally and professionally. Now, before I let you guys go, I do want to end this training on this, and I'll stop presenting here. ChatGPT really can accelerate your life by saving you the time, your frustrations, from getting your work done or even personal life. So I really love ChatGPT to help me with really everything, and it saved me money, it saved me time, it saved me the stress and frustrations through a lot of different things here. I wish I can give you guys just even more examples, but I'll probably go on for hours and days. I do want to end this on, ChatGPT and AI. Well, ChatGPT is really only 5 years old, but the tools and the usage, and really with AI, the tools and the usage are still being discovered today as I'm making this training video. As time will go on, AI will continue to grow and become more developed into our day-to-day lives, and we really need to embrace these changes and adapt to the world we live in today. I mean, not too long ago, everybody thought it was crazy that we would have a smartphone with us all day. I mean, look where we are now. I have a smartphone with me that is smarter than the Apollo mission when we landed on the moon. It's going to adapt, and it's going to come whether we like it or not. And we're going to either have to grow with it and get more adaptable with it, the changing environment and the market out there, or we're going to be left behind. I really stress this, and I can't stress this enough, AI, but in this case, Chat GPT is really going to give you the advantage for you to be prepared personally and professionally to tackle really any challenge out there. If you guys have any questions on Chat GPT, AI, or you just want some one-on-one time with this, give me a call. I'm happy to sit down with you and help you understand it and give you guys a better tips and better functions on how this thing works. I hope to see you guys all in the next ChatGPT training I do, which in that training I plan on doing a little bit more advanced conversations and some advanced topics with it as well. But if you guys have any questions, please reach out. Thanks.